Hey there guys, I'm SonicGhost and welcome back to some more Let's Play Sonic 4 Episode 2. Last time we made our way through Sylvania Castle Zone, and in this episode we're going to go ahead and start up White Park Zone. So if you were playing the demo of Sonic 4 Episode 2, this is the stage they chose for the demo. And I remember White Park Zone Act 1 very strongly because of that demo. Because I played a lot of the Sonic 4 Episode 2 demo before I got the game. Because at that time, I was really anticipating Sonic 4 Episode 2's release in 2012. Because I liked what I played of Sonic 4 Episode 1, and I was really looking forward to the release of Episode 2, and until I was able to get the funds for it at the time, because that was when I was still in high school, it was when I was actually graduating. Man, that's hard to believe, it's already been like 5 years since I graduated high school. Where's the time gone, man? Where's it gone? But I was playing a lot of the demo to just get myself all hyped up for Episode 2. And this is the stage they chose for it, which, to be fair, this is probably one of the better stages in the game, so I don't mind that I chose this stage for the demo. It was a pretty good stage for the demo of Episode 2. And this stage has some pretty interesting gimmicks to it. For example, here we're riding on snowboards, so that's a nice little callback, I believe, to Ice Cap Zone of all things, because that's the same kind of thing you did at the beginning of Ice Cap. You were sliding down on a snowboard. So if we're referencing Genesis games, that's one we're going to be picking. If we're going to be referencing any other Sonic game, I'm going to say Sonic Adventure 2, because of the snowboarding scenes there with Sonic in City Escape. But this is another gimmick we have here, while using our team attack ability here with Tails to just spin dash through the snow. You need to use the group spin dash in order to actually get through that thick snow because Sonic and Tails can't get through it by themselves. So you're going to need to go ahead and group up with your spin dash in order to actually break through it. Well, we're pretty much at the end of the zone now, so just got a homing attack chain our way out and we're good to go, which we should go ahead and bring that up now because just like Sonic 4 Episode 1, Episode 2 has Sonic using his homing attack from the modern Sonic games, which wasn't a thing in the classics at all. And they mainly make you use the homing attack for chains of enemies. It's an optional move because there's never a point in the game where you absolutely need to use the homing attack in order to actually make progress. You need to use the team attack combos with Tails, but the homing attack, that's really just for a lot of optional pathways. If you know where you're going in the levels, you can find your way through without finding a single homing attack chain. And I believe a lot of levels in Episode 1 was kind of the same. And you could definitely feel that the homing attack wasn't really made for a 2D game like this. It was just a nice addition to have, because in a lot of areas, you're mainly using it to get a lot of speed because of that air dash, but never really using it to primarily take out enemies because it's slower than just using a spin dash to just run into them. So I mainly use the homing attack for either the chains where they require you to use it for a specific path, or you can just use it for just getting speed. That's about it. That one homing chain that we needed to go ahead and use to get to the end of White Park Act 1, like one of the only times I can think where they pretty much require you to use the homing attack, but if you just bounce off the enemies, then you can still make that jump without using homing attack. You don't need to use it. You just bounce your way out. That's it. So, I don't know. Homing attack in a 2D Sonic game, it depends on how they implement it for how well it works, because in the Sonic Rush games, the homing attack you really only used for attacking enemies. It was never used to make any progress, and it worked. And in Episode 1 and Episode 2 here, they want you to use it to make progress, but most of the time you don't use it to actually make progress in the level. You're using it mainly just for speed. So, implementation of the homing attack in the Sonic 4 series, I was never really as big of a fan of. It works, but a lot of times it just felt like it was just shoehorned in and not really designed in properly, if that makes any sense. But now we're in White Park Act 2. This is probably one of the best levels in Sonic 4, and it really shows the graphics of Episode 2. I thought Sonic 4 Episode 1 looked pretty good for its time, but Episode 2 just looks way better in my opinion. The character models are a lot cleaner because with each different version of Sonic 4 Episode 1, the characters get more and more shiny for some reason, which I don't understand why, and a lot of areas just kind of look a little more plasticky than they should in Sonic 4 Episode 1, but Episode 2 just really has a much better graphical detail to it. The lighting engine here is superb because it's very, very nice looking with lighting. You get a lot of nice shadow effects and a lot of bloom effects with the lighting here. It just really pops out, which is good. And then the character models for everyone, they're very nice and detailed. They don't really look out of place here. They look like they are from the modern Sonic games in a 2D space. The character models here just work in my opinion. They look really nice. Also, this red ring here, it's probably one of my least favorite red rings in the entire game. White Park Act 2's red ring requires you to jump over a spring. And if you're going fast, you're gonna miss that red ring. Speaking of missing, please don't. Thank you, Sonic. I almost missed my chance to get into the special stage. If you miss your timing to get into that special stage, by the time that sign is done flipping around, Sonic will just automatically walk to the right and avoid the special stage ring. So, I got very close to missing the special stage. That would have sucked, which means I would have had to play through the next level to get the special stage 5. That would have sucked. But going back to that red ring, that one is one of my least favorites because it's so easy to miss. You can easily just miss that one because you miss your timing jumping over the spring. I've done that countless of times. It's my least favorite red ring to get in the game. But this special stage is probably one of my least favorite because this one here, you need to hit that spring before you get to the checkpoint. Because if you miss that spring, you're not going to have enough rings, no matter what you do here in that first swipe. And that spring's there twice, so you can hit a total of 2 times to get to that top section of this first checkpoint area. And you need to do so to have enough rings to actually continue with the special stage. So, this special stage is probably the hardest special stage in my personal opinion of Sonic 4 Episode 2. Special Stage 7 is the infamous special stage everyone talks about from this game. Reason being is because that special stage requires you to use the boost mechanic. Also, that spring I just hit, that's the spring I was talking about in the last episode, where there's one specific spring that just takes you to the ending early, and that's the spring. Special Stage 5 does have that spring, the second section, that takes you straight to the ending of that section. If you have enough rings, you can take it, but if you don't have enough rings, don't hit the spring, because you're only asking to fail. Luckily though, if you don't have enough rings, and you didn't hit the checkpoint yet, you can just pause the game, and then hit retry. So you can retry these special stages as many times as you want, as long as you can go ahead and pause. So don't hit a checkpoint if you don't have enough rings, pause the game before you pass the checkpoint and hit retry. Because if you don't do that, then you're going to have to build up 50 more rings and get to the end of a level to get to that special stage ring. That's the one thing I'll give both Sonic 4 Episode 1 and Episode 2. They allow you to retry the special stages. No other special stage in the 2D Sonic games lets you retry, at least to my knowledge. So, I could be wrong on that, who knows. But this stage right here, White Park Act 3, out of the 3 levels for White Park, this is probably the worst. And this is the one where you're going to spend most of your time underwater in Sonic 4. This is your underwater stage. And we're about ready to drown. We better get out of here. No, we're fine. If you move fast enough, you don't have to worry about getting the bubbles. But if you don't move fast enough here and you don't feel confident to making it to the surface, then you want to go ahead and wait for a bubble to pop out, because that bubble will refill your air meter, just like the classic games. Also, this giant polar bear enemy, he takes 3 homing attack hits, but if you just use your group spin attack with Tails, takes him down in 1 hit. It's the only enemy in the game that has 3 hits. For some reason, he's the only multi-attack enemy, and I'm not sure why they did that to begin with. It was kind of out of place for a 2D Sonic game. It worked in some other games like Sonic Heroes or Shadow the Hedgehog, where you had multiple ways to attack enemies. But for a game like this, where all you can do is jump or homing attack, it doesn't really work. So it's good that there's only one enemy that takes multiple hits, but it's just a little out of place. So it really helps that the team attacks with Tails can just take them out in one shot. Also, this portion of the stage, this is the worst right here because you have to constantly move to the right. If you slow down even for a split second, you're gonna get trapped in the ice and you're stuck. The only way out of there is to restart the level or just to kill yourself and go back to a previous checkpoint. If the ice forms, there's no way to destroy it. You have to kill those walrus enemies before the ice forms, before your path is completely blocked. Once it's blocked, you're done. And that's my least favorite part about White Park Zone Act 3. That ending in particular. It's so easy to get roadblocked there just because of the ice. But that's it. That's the end of White Park. So, we got one more special stage to go. Then we'll have our 6th Chaos Emerald, and then we have the boss fight. So this special stage keeps you in pipes a lot of the time. So this one in particular, you're going to want to ride the walls a lot of the time in order to get the rings in the center. It's the only way you're going to have enough distance to jump towards those rings. So there you go. That's the first checkpoint out of the way. Easy as that. The boost makes it way easier to get those rings in the center. But now we need 300 rings. I feel special stage 6 in particular is when they really ramp up that ring requirement for the end of each checkpoint area. It's ridiculous. Also, I always have a hard time getting that tether. I just never can get it consistently. You gotta know which one of those boost pads can just take you straight towards the tether. Otherwise, you're gonna be jumping over the boost pads because if you hit the wrong one, you just bypass it entirely. So I rarely ever get the tether in this stage. It's so easy to avoid. And I'm not even trying to. It's just, I don't know which one of those have the right pathway. Like, which booster takes me where. I don't remember that. It's just a lot of trial and error. And I don't like that in special stages in particular. Also, this corkscrew effect really just messes you up because you think you're on the path to get the rings, but it's so hard to tell because of how the corkscrew works. So it's very easy to miss rings in that section there in particular. But in this one, they group up a lot of rings here in batches of 2, so it's very easy to avoid these things, and I barely got enough rings. I needed 450 to get this Chaos Emerald, and I just barely got it. If I missed even a single ring, that would have screwed me over. That was close. And those batches of rings in particular, they're some of the harder ones to get because it really helps to use the boost to get those. If you're not boosting, I find sometimes I could just walk straight through a pack of 2 rings and get 1 ring. So boost through those when you can. It just makes it a lot easier for you to actually collect the rings. But now with that special stage done, we only need 1 more special stage and 1 more Chaos Emerald before we have them all. But it's time for a boss fight against Metal Sonic. So if you played episode Metal, you'll understand where this rocket comes from. If you don't play episode Metal, you'll be scratching your head wondering, where did Metal Sonic get a rocket and why does it have a Tails logo on it? If you haven't seen it, go and watch the episode Metal playthrough I did to understand some of the backstory here of Metal Sonic for Sonic 4 Episode 2, but there's really not much you need to know. He's just revived from Little Planet, Eggman brings him back to Sonic's world here, and he hitches a ride on Tails' rocket to get where Sonic is here in White Park Zone. That's pretty much all you need to know. The gimmick of this fight is it's a constantly running fight, so you're constantly needing to move forward here and catch up to where Metal Sonic is. And to do so, a lot of times I just like using the little air dash you have with Sonic. It's the easiest way to get to Metal Sonic quick. And Metal here is going to do a multitude of different attacks here, but the one he's just about ready to do is my least favorite. When you do enough damage to Metal, he's going to start destroying the floor. My least favorite points of this fight are these portions where he destroys the floor, because if you're not careful, he's going to destroy the floor really quick, and you're not going to have enough time to react. I mean, right back there, he almost destroyed the floor I was walking on. So if I didn't jump as soon as he hit the ground, I would have died. And I don't like that portion of the fight entirely. It's just annoying. A lot of times it's easy to predict where he's going to land, but it's still very easy to get blindsided. Now this portion of the fight, I usually like to go ahead and use my group spin attack here with Tails, and how did I avoid getting hit? That's like the first time I ever avoided getting hit in this section. I usually tank a hit here, because Metal Sonic moves around so erratically, I just never effectively avoid getting hit. I'm surprised I did. That's the first time I've never gotten hit in that boss fight. But what I was also going to mention is when you're running around this fight, there's going to be springs that can push you between the foreground and the background. Never go in the background, stay on the foreground. Reason being is Metal Sonic never goes in the background. So if you're back there, you're avoiding his attacks and waiting for a spring to appear to take you back to the foreground. So always avoid the springs in that boss fight and never go to the background because you're just wasting time at that point. But now with that all said, we're done with White Park Zone and we're ready to move on to Oil Desert. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and end the episode here. Next time on Let's Play Sonic 4 Episode 2, we'll be making our way into Oil Desert Zone. I'll see you guys next time.